Welcome to the significance of the double-slit experiment. In 1803, Thomas Young published a paper describing how he had allowed light to shine through two slits, and he had observed it interfere and create interference patterns on a screen on the other side of the room. The bright and the dark fringes showed support for the wave theory of light. This is the theory that was proposed by Christiaan's Huygens. Newton's theory was the corpuscular theory of light. And if that had been the case, if that theory had been correct, then these particles, these corpuscles, would behave like this. Those that passed through the slits would have continued their journey and created two fringes on the screen, directly in front of the slits. This is not what was observed, and Thomas Young's experiment supported the wave nature of light. Despite this compelling evidence, the scientific community still supported the corpuscular theory of light. In 1817, the French Academy of Sciences set out a competition and encouraged scientists to submit papers about the topic of diffraction. Fresnel was interested in this topic and was encouraged by some scientist colleagues of his, which included Arago and André Ampère. He was encouraged to enter the competition. He produced a summary of the work that had been done on diffraction so far and submitted his own support of Huygens' theory, and included his own ideas about the way that waves can interfere with each other. Poisson was on the committee, and he was a supporter of the corpuscular theory of light. He studied Fresnel's submission, he studied the mathematics in it, and he found that according to Fresnel's equations, if you put a perfectly spherical object into the path of light, then you should, in theory, cast a shadow on a screen, and in the center of that shadow, there should be a bright spot. This is because the light would diffract as it goes past the edges of the sphere. And as it overlaps, it would constructively interfere right in the center, and in theory should make a bright spot. Poisson thought that this was a ludicrous idea and used it as evidence to discredit Fresnel's submission. Arago was head of this committee, and he thought that this idea needed further investigation, so he did the experiment himself, and he discovered a bright spot right in the middle of a shadow cast by a spherical object. This bright spot is usually named an Arago spot, but more commonly it's known as Poisson's spot, because it is regarded as a spot on his career. The combination of Young's double-slit experiment and Fresnel's publication of the Huygens-Fresnel principle worked together to convince the scientific community that the wave theory of light was worth considering.